Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your 7th Perry Mason episode review, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe out there. Hope you're all being good to each other and all that sorts. Can't believe it's almost over. I mean, technically when I started reviewing this in June, I did not expect the summer to go by that quickly. I mean, I know we still got a month left of summer, and to be fair, even in COVID times, it doesn't really feel like, summer vacation all that much. At least for me, as being an adult, everything kind of blended together. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really feel like something special. But anyway, so this week, honestly, like, giving up this being the penultimate episode of the season, which I've been saying a lot lately, since we're reaching the finale points on all of our current shows, which will conveniently wrap up all in time before our first hiatus, which will be. I'll talk more about that later on. I'm just mentioning, name dropping for the first time. The overall show's going on hiatus. But anyway, this week's Perry Mason, that ending was like, oh man, the ending was like kind of shocking, kind of like, well, you expected, and also there's just more twists and turns to, like, we're going to be leading into a bombshell of a finale next week, and I can't wait to see how they'll wrap it up. But this week, the tensions were at high. The characters have to do what they can to, figure out what the best thing to do for them. I'm being very vague because I want to talk about spoilers, which I'll get to in a second. But I really enjoyed this episode. I really did. I feel like this was a fantastic setup for the finale, and I can't wait to see how things are going to wrap up next week. But until then, let's talk about this week's episode, and let's go through the Butchered recap and talk about it. So we begin. In a flashback that doesn't really describe it as a flashback. We're kind of stranded out in a desert area. Not really the desert, but like kind of like akin to a desert. We see at first I was like very confused. Like, are we already getting introduced to new characters already in the 7th episode? I mean, they're really setting up for season 2. But no, it turns out to be Sister Alice when she was much younger as a teenager with her mom during their travels. But however, their car runs out of gas and they're kind of stranded out in the middle of nowhere. But conveniently enough, a man shows up in his own car, very similar to theirs. And then again, I keep forgetting that this is the 1920s, I'm assuming. So there wasn't that many other variations of car. I don't know. I got to ask my friend. He's a car expert. But anyway, the guy's a good Samaritan. He gives them some gas to kind of like go along their way. But then Sister Alice's mother kind of admits to this man that they are kind of like poor. They're not poor. They're broke. They've left their home in Canada. They're out on the road trying to find where they need to belong to next. And they're kind of just lost. They have no money to buy anything. They're kind of just, just trying to survive. And, and she's telling this guy to probably get some sympathy out of him. But it turns out this guy is more than willing to give these women some money. And I was like, oh man, really? Really? Even in the 1920s? I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm like, really? And it doesn't seem like this is Alice's first time doing this, so man, that was a little bit sad to watch that even in, back in almost 100 years ago, that type of thing was still going around. But we cut to present day where Sister Alice is having dinner with her mom and Emily, and they're just talking about, everything that's going on. Easter Sunday is approaching, which aka will be the baby Charlie's resurrection, and then I believe we kind of cut back over to the trial. I think we just jump over. No. Oh no, I forgot. So we cut to Mason. So the guy who had him at gunpoint in the last episode. Yeah, the guy isn't shooting him. He just has it on hand just in case. But the way they framed the last episode's ending was like kind of misconstruing. But no, Mason's fine. He's just dragging him over to the site, talking about how like Mason's kind of smart for putting all the connections together and trying to get some more information about what stuff that Mason doesn't know about how the land was bought, what does Baggerty have in mind was his original intentions for this land, all that sorts. And Perry is basically being honest with this guy that like and this guy is also like a follower of Sister Alice, so they have that commodity, that connection. And Perry's is convincing him that like, hey, I'm just a man who's just trying to make up for his sin. I got this woman's life on my head, so I just need to do whatever I can to help her out. So the guy, seemingly seeing that Perry is a pretty good guy, decides to dig up something and presumably We don't know what it is at first, but then eventually we cut to the courthouse the next day, where Perry has came with the materials he acquired, and they head over to the courthouse, in akin to what the DA did last episode. Yeah, where he kind of introduced this new piece of evidence without letting the Perry and his team know about it ahead of time. So he's Perry's trying to basically, in lawyer terms, it's trying to set up that the church might have had some involvement in baby Charlie's death, as coincidentally enough, the church was in debt for $100,000, which, if that sounds familiar to you guys, which should be, considering the fact that was the exact amount that the ransomers, the kidnappers, had as ransom for Charlie. So is that all coincidental? Basically, they're trying to get some cooperation that the church has something planned here, so at least to maybe get some of the tension off of Emily and onto them. So it seems to be working, because I looked at the DA's face, I looked at Stephen Root's face, and it's like, no, it's not good. No. But wheels are in motion elsewhere, as Pete, doing his now being a solo investigator for Perry, he manages to dig up some connections between the church's current accountant to George Gannon's time as an accountant for the church, as well as two of the perpetrators that were at the apartment scene that we've seen many times before. I kept talking about it forever. So there's a connection between all four of them, so you can't ignore that. So Pete's going to trail after this guy, but Pete sadly gets caught during the attempt, and then he loses him in a parade, which honestly I did not know what this parade was for. I think it was for the worker union, I believe. I'm not really sure. But also, however, we get to back to the trial. We get the second one, which is Herman Baggerty himself. And Perry's trying to not really set up Herman as he's the villain here, but basically as just setting him up that the motive and the opportunity was there after what Herman did. So the history that he has been helping out the church, as we know, for many, many years at this point. And donations stopped after the land investment, which is going to be used for this big, I think it's going to be for the big future plan for this future town that he and his son are building. That is all. After that investment originally failed, it turned out to be that he stopped donating to the church. But then once the church started realizing they were in debt, that they decided to use they decided to ask him again, hey, can we have some money? Can we get some big donation to kind of get us out of this? But although he doesn't deny, he does not confirm or deny that he did give them the money. He denied something, but he did accept the fact that he was asked about it. No, I remember he was asked, but he wouldn't disclose what the amount was he was asked for. But he did confirm that he did not give the money to them, thus setting up the motive that, conveniently enough, 3 weeks later, the church, not sure that Charlie Dawson was kidnapped, who had the connection to Herman at the end of the day, and the ransom money was $100,000, exactly what the church needed. So again, corroborating the fact that something is amiss here with the church. But before the DA has a chance to kind of screw over Perry in some manner or form, the church's enemies, the ones that are against the whole resurrection thing, they should show up in the court dressed up as Sister Alice and throw a smoke bomb, which is kind of the most just the most weirdest move they can do, but whatever. Speaking of which, a critical moment in this war between the factions of the church. Sister Alice is doing her usual radio play show. I don't know what the hell she's doing, but she gets interrupted by the other group that is basically trying to discredit her, believe that she's going to be able to resurrect Charlie by hijacking her radio studio and trying to kind of silence her in a way, that sort of thing. And then as well as where do we go from? I think Della, there's a scene with Della. Also, I finally remember her name, the assistant to Evie, who's no longer Evie's assistant because Evie died, is named Della. It took me 7 goddamn episodes, but I finally figured it out. I am so sorry to the actress who plays Della. It doesn't mean I don't pay attention, but because my memory is so damn horrible. But I'm going to remember this from now until we're done with our Perry Mason content, so don't worry. So she's trying to make a deal with another member of the court or someone who's able to basically try to restrict or bar access to the whole resurrection thing on Sunday. Trying to just because it's going to set up Sister Alice and Emily for failure once this does not turn out the way it's going to be. So kudos to Della on her part. I believe also Perry. Yeah, so Perry, after that long day, heads back to his house, heads back to the airstrip for a drink. However, his girlfriend, lover, whatever you want to call them, because titles are very, very weird in the 1920 in this time period, has decided to. He tells him that because Perry has not paid his property taxes in 5 years, that apparently his house was up for audit. So, and the woman, she bought him out. So she bought out the title, she had the title, and basically she just decides to tell him at the very last minute to prevent Perry from even fighting her on this. So, honestly, yeah, this was kind of a shady move on her, because basically she slept with Perry for I want to say for a while now. I think for more than, let's say half a year at least. Basically just trying to swindle him into take some money, and Perry basically gets nothing at the end of the day, since I honestly thought this was going to be a turning point in their relationship where she was going to say, you're right, this house is something, I'm going to let you keep it, I own it, don't worry about paying anything, I got you. But no, she basically says that I'm giving you a month, you got to leave, but as a favor to you, I will leave your parents here, I will not remove their plot stones or move their graves, which even that's so enough. Perry finds offense into that and leaves. He goes to meet up with Pete, and of course he's mad at Pete because Pete manages to lose and alert the church accountant about him being trailed and all that sort. So basically they lost her. This was supposed to be their big clutch for the trial. This was going to be the big ace in the car to kind of prove everything, and get everyone out in the open. So Perry's obviously mad, but Pete's kind of fed up with it, since this isn't the first time he's getting blamed by Perry for something related to him. So he decides to say hey, look, pass this along to Detective Drake, have him be your partner on this, pay me out, I'm done with you. Will this be the end of their partnership? I highly doubt it. I think they'll resolve things either by this season, the next episode, or next season. We'll see him again. What other scenes am I forgetting? I don't think we have another trial scene, because we stopped after the smoke bomb, so the trial stops there. And then Drake gets recruited by Perry to kind of help him with the investigation. In this case, Drake goes to investigate a lead he has on this hotel, motel looking area that there was a lead, or maybe he just had a hunch that 2 of the kidnappers had a baby there at the time period of late December, so he goes to check it out. He goes to... Also, there was a weird scene with Drake. I'm pretty sure he was just getting information, but even that was I'm not really a fan of this. Where Drake is talking to one of his church friends, a friend of his. And during that convo, it seems the woman was under the impression that Drake was finally going to sleep with her, but Drake was like, nah, I'm married, I'm just here to get some information. And the woman just said, oh, don't worry, eventually you'll get out of the yard, and start playing around a little bit. Which is... I praise Drake for being loyal. But damn, sorry, hard to hold that in. Sorry, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. So anyway, Drake gets recruited. He goes to the hotel. He speaks to the manager, who's kind of giving him I don't know if it was the cold shoulder or just the whole racial aspects of that time period. I don't know which one it was, but she doesn't give him anything. She's saying that, I don't have a registry. I can't give you names because I don't let people sign their name. They just give me the money, and I just let them get the rooms, whatsoever. But Drake manages to turn up some information. It turns out those 2 were there with a crying baby, as every single person who was there that night has heard the baby screams. And then I believe there was another piece of information where all of a sudden this Chinese lady showed up, and it managed to stop the baby, and the baby was stopped crying, and he was just a happy little boy. But however, but basically the connection I'm trying to make is that one of the corrupt detective that we keep looking at, that we know he's corrupt, we know he killed the kidnappers, we know he's trying to cover his track, we know he's trying to stop himself from being incriminated. We know he has a connection to this Chinese massage parlor, which is really an underground way for sex. I think that's how it's phrased. I could be wrong on that. Since the connection there, it's all connected. So Perry decides to go in undercover to potentially talk to the person who went to the motel or the hotel to go and calm Charlie down. And he manages to find that one person, and it turns out that I think I don't remember how the conversation went, but I think it went in the matter of no, she didn't. She wasn't the one. There was someone else. Yeah, it was someone else who went, but when she came back after that, a week later, she died, or she just she went away. She was kind of taken care of. So, yeah, something was wrong here. Perry was trying to get more information out of it, but also the woman let him know that she had a heroin addiction, and these are all those will all be important later. But eventually, the owners figure out what Perry's really doing there. They beat him up. They try to kick him out, and I'm presuming they're about to silence him forever. But Drake goes in to manages to stop them from doing so. They get Perry. He gets Perry out of there, and then also another thing you should know that with Perry blaming the church, it does put some doubt in Emily's mind that the church might not have her best intentions in heart. Sister Alice is basically trying to calm her down, since I'm pretty sure Alice has nothing to do with the whole scheme. Because at this point, you got to assume the church is involved. Like, you got to assume, especially we'll get another scene later that kind of confirms it. But it sucks the fact that Alice is getting shermoked here. But yeah. So Emily is starting to have some self doubts over the whole thing, and then Perry goes to visit the mortician again because he gets a call that there was a new Jane Doe that just arrived recently. It turned out to be a Chinese woman who the mortician already kind of deduced that this woman was a sex worker because of the diseases in her body, and also she was using heroin. Perry, connecting the dots, realizes what happened, because this was the same woman who most likely was the one who calmed down Charlie the night presumably they had him, and he was probably drinking her milk, but since she was on drugs, and that's why this is important to anyone who's having kids. Don't do drugs when you're pregnant, or don't do drugs after you're feeding your child. Just don't. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it. I'm sorry. There, end of story. The mortician tells him that if a baby was to consume that milk, that is, from a person that has drugs in their body, they can die from it. So the whole story. So the whole story is that for now, until we get some more information next week, is that the church probably organized the kidnapping with the detective to kind of get this money for the church. So this was kind of like the church needed a way to get the money. And Herman Baggledy has the money, but he doesn't want to give it to them. So they realize a couple of their members are already in connection with Herman, and they have a child. So their extreme measure is, let's kidnap the child, let's get the son to go to Herman to get the money, and so they can get the baby back safely. But the mistake they made is that, I don't know if the detective was involved from the start, or he was added on because of the lady he had to get from one of his side businesses. The plan went awry, or at least they kind of like shermoked it, or they kind of like sidelined it when the lady who was on heroin, which I'm pretty sure didn't even know she was on heroin, gave her milk to the baby. It caused the baby to die, which was not in the plans, but I'm pretty sure they were like, oh crap, we can't just tell them the baby died because we're not going to get our money. So they get the money, and from then on they get the baby back, but of course they started a whole new can of worms. Since like eventually there's going to eventually they're going to figure this is a murder. They're going to try to figure it out. So I'm pretty sure they have that detective to kind of clean up the mess, to try and cut off every connection to the church, and they're trying to get the church scot-free. They're trying to get this out of this. But yeah, it fucking sucks that this was the way Charlie died. That it wasn't on purpose. Cause, I mean, we still don't know why they sewed the eyes shut. I still don't get that. I guess we'll figure that out next week, I'm presuming. But it does suck. This was kind of like, this is the way the baby died, and I was really bummed out by that. But the next day is the Easter Sunday resurrection, the thing that Sister Alice has been proclaiming for months now. So the graveyards, the cemetery is at an all-time high with people. They want to see this resurrection. They want to see Alice get proven wrong. Perry's trying to go there and try to stop this from happening, but they're not listening. They're going to proceed forward with this. And during the ritual... Oh, sorry, I'm holding this. I was holding this before. The ceremony. I honestly felt like, are they actually going to do this? Are they actually going to introduce the supernatural to this world? But no, because the thing is, because once Alice opens up the casket, the baby's not there. The baby's gone. Like, there's no baby. It's like, so wait, what the fuck happened? Did they dig up the baby earlier? Did the baby was never there? Is this a whole nother conspiracy theory? Like, what's going on here? And obviously people are so out of control because, like, oh my god, Alice was wrong. We need to stop her. We need to put her down. And they're like, everyone's in a panic mode. Like, what the hell's going on here? Emily's, like, done with life since, like, she's going to lose the case and her baby's gone forever. So, everything's off the rails here. So Sister Alice and her mom retreat to try to get away from the commotion. Perry and, Darcy. Wait. Oh my god, I feel so sorry. I literally remember the name. It's not there anymore. Damn it! Oh, I had the name. I think it was Darcy. Okay, yeah, it was Darcy. They try to get Emily out of the get her out of there. Also, there was another scene I forgot that the detective met up with the accountant for the church. The church accountant is basically telling me I can't get up on this stand because Perry is going to nail me. It's going to be over if I'm on that stand. I need to get out of here. So at first the detective's like, sure, no problem. Let me give you a ride to the bus depot. Here's your ticket. Just wait it out. They can't extradite you. You're in the clear. Everyone's going to forget about it. We'll move on. You'll come back later. But as he was getting into the car, to no surprise, the detective kills him to kind of like, again, cutting off connections, cutting off the loose ends so that he doesn't get incriminated of any sort. Sorry, my voice kind of went away there. And Sister Alice and her mom are, like, I'm presumably heading back to their house, heading back to the retreat. And on their way, they get stopped by, there's a roadblock in the road ahead, so the mother goes out to go investigate. Turns out there's a baby there. And the mother's like, this is Charlie. This is Charlie. The resurrection worked. The resurrection worked. Like, this is huge. Alice was right. It's like, I'm so confused. Like, what? It actually worked? And it's like, oh, and then like when Sister Alice comes over there and she kind of sees the whole situation and the mother kind of whispers to her like, yeah, I know this wasn't going to happen, but we have nothing else besides the church. If this hadn't happened, like, we would have lost everything. So, she hired this other baby, or she got this other baby to be Charlie, and she's trying to have Sister Alice kind of like, come along for the ride. Like, this is Charlie. This is Charlie. As long as we act like this, like, you won't be a liar. We'll still have our people. And Sister Alice, thank God, being smart, doesn't accept this, and she just runs away while her mother is basically trying to, like, spread the word. Like, no, she did do this. The resurrection did happen. Praise Jesus. Praise the Lord. And, that ends the episode. Again, we're in a very interesting place for the next week. I feel like this episode did such a great job setting that up, where we're kind of in interesting places with these characters to kind of see them how they're going to tackle on the last episode for now. I forgot what else I was going to say, and I'm also already sweating. My house is getting hot again. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. But I thought this was a really good episode. I found the tensions were at all-time high. How is everything going to wrap up next week? I don't know. I just want to see... I want to see the detective like get arrested. I want to see his smug face with handcuffs just getting taken away. I just want to see that scene so badly. Will we get that scene? I don't know. We'll figure it out next week. But I give this episode 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it, and I think that's going to do it for me. So if you want to know, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing overall on What's on the Tube, besides our Perry Mason episode reviews, we do DC Stargirl episode reviews each and every Friday, after a brand new episode on Mondays on DC Universe, the streaming service, as well as on Tuesday nights on the CW. We can catch it all for free on the CW.com and on the CW app. We also do Doom Patrol Season 2 episode reviews each and every Saturday after a brand new episode on Thursdays on HBO Max and DC Universe, both streaming services. But if you don't care about Perry Mason, then you're still in luck. We'll be back next week for the season finale review of Perry Mason. Oh my god, this is all leading to this. How will this trial end? I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how this story ends. The last 7 weeks has been great. It's been great to have a show on Sundays again. It used to be The Walking Dead time. Before, when it was great to bad to now great again. I missed it. I miss having a Sunday show, and Perry Mason has been great. Obviously, I know I did the rookie, but I'm talking about like a you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah. So again, remember, next week will be our season finale review. The week after that will be our season 1 review, and then the week after that will be season 2 predictions and hopes that do I want to see, and that will wrap up our Perry Mason content. So we still have a few more weeks to go. Don't fret. We're not done yet. But again, if you're unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of What's in the Tube, specifically our Perry Mason episode reviews, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube.com. Ring the bell for notifications when the next episode review is live. Like, favorite, share if you want to, but it does help us out in the long run. As well as follow us on social media to be up to date on new videos, updates on videos, and all that sorts. And I'll see you Masoners next week for the season finale. And let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the episode? Did you like the twist in the end? How do you think this is all going to get wrapped up next week? Let me know in the comments. I'm always down for conversation. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.